It was a cold winter's night, and the wind howled through the trees, making them creak and groan like ancient creatures. The small house stood isolated at the edge of a dense, dark forest. Inside, a young boy named Timmy was home alone, a situation that usually filled him with a sense of adventure. But tonight was different. Tonight, terror awaited. Timmy's parents had gone out for a rare evening, leaving him in charge of the house. He was used to it, but something about the night felt eerie. He settled down on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, trying to lose himself in the glow of the TV. The suspenseful movie he was watching didn't help his growing unease. As the minutes ticked by, Timmy couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. The house seemed to come alive with strange sounds. The floorboards creaked, the wind rattled the windows, and the shadows danced in sinister ways. His heart raced as he tried to dismiss these sensations as just his imagination running wild. But then, he heard it, a faint, eerie whisper. Timmy's eyes widened, and he turned the volume down on the TV. There it was again, a whisper that seemed to be coming from just beyond the front door. Timmy's breath caught in his throat as he inched closer to the door, straining to listen. It was a voice, soft but sinister, repeating his name, Timmy. Timmy. The voice was familiar, yet horribly wrong. It sounded like his mother's voice, but it was distorted, filled with malice. Panic welled up inside Timmy as he realized that something was terribly amiss. He cautiously approached the door, peering through the peephole. There, standing on the porch, was a silhouette of a woman, but not his mother. The figure had long, tangled hair that obscured her face. She was dressed in a tattered, filthy gown that seemed out of place in the modern world. Timmy's pulse quickened, and he took a step back. The whispering continued, and the figure outside began to scratch at the door with long, bony fingers. Timmy's fear escalated as he watched in terror. He knew he had to call for help, but the phone was in the living room, just a few feet away from the door. Summoning all his courage, he darted for the phone, trying not to make a sound. Just as he reached for the phone, a blood-curdling scream pierced the night. It was his mother's voice, echoing through the house. Timmy's heart pounded in his chest as he stumbled back from the phone, overwhelmed with dread. His mother was out, and yet her voice seemed to be coming from the same room. He turned around slowly, and there she stood, the doppelganger of his mother. Her face was contorted into a grotesque, mocking smile, revealing sharp, discolored teeth. She pointed a bony finger at him and spoke in that twisted voice.
Timmy, why did you leave the door open?
You shouldn't have done that. He was paralyzed with fear as she glided closer, her feet not touching the ground. Panic surged through him, and he fled down the hallway, escaping into his room. He locked the door and pushed a heavy dresser in front of it, tears streaming down his face. From the other side of the door, he could hear the intruder whispering his name, her voice growing more and more sinister. She taunted him, promising to come in and make him pay for his mistake. Time seemed to stretch as Timmy huddled in the dark, listening to the footsteps that shuffled closer and closer. Hours passed, and the house fell silent. Timmy didn't know if the intruder had given up or was biding her time. He was afraid to move, afraid to make a sound. The night seemed endless. At the break of dawn, the first light of morning seeped through the curtains. Timmy, exhausted and terrified, finally dared to peek out from behind the dresser. The room was empty. The house was empty. Tentatively, he opened his bedroom door and searched every corner of the house. But there was no sign of the sinister figure. The ordeal was over, and his parents were on their way back. Timmy was left with a haunting question. Had it all been a terrifying nightmare? Or had something truly malevolent visited him that night? To this day, Timmy can't be sure, but he never felt safe in that house again. The memory of that night still haunts him, and the whispering voice lingers in his nightmares, a chilling reminder of a true Home Alone horror story that he can never forget.